In today's video, I'm going to share with you my top tips for taking care of your clothes properly. I've worked in both the fashion industry and also in costuming departments for things like theatre, so I have picked up some pretty great tips along the way of how to actually care for clothing. I've also learnt things that have worked really well for me when caring for my own clothing. I do like to buy high quality pieces that are trendless and that will last, and a way to make those items last and look as good as new is actually taking care of the clothing properly. Before we get right into these juicy tips, hello if you're new on my channel, my name is Fab and I make 2 fashion and lifestyle videos every single week. So if you like videos like this, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. The first tip I have, and in my eyes the most important one, is not to just chuck your clothes in the dryer. You want to be hang drying or line drying your clothes. I know it is so much easier just to chuck your clothes into the dryer, press start, 2 hours later you come back, everything's dry. But if you think about it, a dryer is literally burning your clothes. It is scorching them. And when you chuck your clothes in the dryer over and over again, it is going to disintegrate pretty quickly, regardless if it's a fast fashion piece or a high quality item. I honestly do believe that this is the reason that people find that their clothes just don't last. So what to do instead is to hang dry them or line dry them. If you do have a clothesline outside, that is perfect on a sunny day. I suggest turning your clothing inside out before you peg it onto the line. That way the sun isn't directly on the outside of the clothing. If you don't have an outdoor clothesline, many people don't, maybe you live in a climate that's super cold and snowing, or you live in an apartment block or something, you can actually get little portable ones, and these are great because you can store them away and bring them out when you need it. They're perfect just to set by a window, maybe have some sun coming through on your washing so it'll dry. Now, this is gonna muck around with the feng shui maybe for a day to have your clothes all drying in the corner somewhere, but I think it is definitely worth it to preserve the quality of your clothing. Now, that being said, I still do use the dryer very occasionally for something like old towels, old pajamas, things that I don't really mind having that really intense heat on, or maybe if it's been raining for days and days on end and I just really need some fresh sheets or something like that, then I will use the dryer, but it's only when I really need to. The next tip is to use little washing bags or laundry bags. I've seen that meme on the internet countless times where it's a lone sock because the other sock has gone missing somewhere in the washing process, and I have to say this never really happens to me because I use washing bags. These bags are really easy to find at somewhere like Target, and I just chuck all my socks and underwear and bras into them. It's great for bras because ladies, we know the little hooks on the bras can get caught on other pieces of clothing and snag them when it is in the washing machine, and we don't want that happening either. So these bags are really helpful. Another trick to keep your socks really together in their rightful pair is to actually safety pin them together before you put them in. Personally, I don't need to do this because I have the washing bags and also the metal like clanking around. I feel like it's doing some kind of damage, but if you're a serial sock loser, then this might be a good option for you. And then these washing bags are also fantastic for delicate items of clothing. Say you have a blouse that has some really nice little buttons on them and you don't want the buttons snagging. What I'll do is I'll actually turn that item inside out, then put it in the washing bag, and then it goes in with the rest of my stuff, so there's no way that it can snag on anything. Okay, let's talk stain removal, and I have a very secret weapon for this. As we all know, there is a ton of stain removers on the market, like Shout is a very popular one, things like that, but the one that I use that has worked the absolute best for me is called Fels Naphtha, and this is basically a laundry soap bar. Fels Naphtha has been on the market since 1893. It's still going strong today, people still use it, and it is marketed as a laundry soap bar, but back in the day, people used it for everything. Like they would wash their hair with it, wash their babies, and actually, my little puppy, when I first got her, she was really suffering from dandruff. She had little flaky skin, and I tried all the doggy shampoos. Nothing worked. I finally was like, I'm just gonna wash her with the soap bar, and the dandruff cleared right up. She hasn't had any more issues with it, and now her fur is really, really soft. But the main thing I use the soap bar for is treating stains. So what I do is I take the place that has a stain on it and I run it under cold water. I will then grab the bar and rub the soap onto the stain. Then what I do is I massage the soap into the fabric with my fingers. You can use a little brush, maybe a toothbrush or something, to really work on a stain. I feel like this would be okay with something like jeans, but if you're working with something more delicate, you don't want to be brushing on the fabric, you might damage it. I just really find working it in with my fingers is best. Oftentimes you will see the stain just disappear before your eyes. Of course, some stains are tougher to get out, so I'll just leave it there to soak for like 10 or 15 minutes, come back to it and work on it again. And then once I feel like the stain has been worked on enough, it just goes through the wash. Oh, and I didn't mention it's cheap. It is very cheap. You can buy it on Amazon and it's something like $1.50 a bar or something. But just quickly, another tip about stain removal is after you've worked on a stain and it's gone through the washing machine, make sure you check where the stain was before you go through the drying process. You never want to heat set a stain. Basically, once you heat set it, it's gonna make it incredibly, incredibly difficult to get that stain out. That's another reason why I don't use a dryer, because I never want to heat set stains. So make sure before you go ahead and dry something, you always check to make sure the stain is gone. Another couple of quick laundry tips. Obviously, everybody knows to separate lights and darks and colors. I'm not a major stickler for this. Like, I don't have to have everything white. I just do like light as a general and then darks and colors as a general. Of course, you don't want something red going into your whites. Nobody wants that, but I feel like it doesn't have to be as intense as you feel like it should be. And then also is not to use too much detergent in your washing machine. This can actually break the machine. You really don't need that much because it actually foams up. So you really need less than you think. Also, personal rant, I hate those little Tide Pods. I hate them so much. I feel like they actually don't disintegrate, like the plastic just stays there and it'll like stick onto clothing, and I hate them. So that's just personal preference. If you like them, go for it. But I hate those little things. All right, let's talk about storing your clothes. I am a little bit guilty of this, and that is using proper hangers. I will tend to find any hanger I can and just put something on it. But really, you do want quality hangers that are going to actually support the weight of your garment so that they don't fall and stretch. And you also don't want to be putting knitwear on a hanger. I always fold my knitwear that way for the same reason. It won't fall with gravity and actually stretch out the knitwear. And then I put plastic over my really special items that I just don't want damaged. I don't want any dirt to get on them or dust. So what I do is every time I get something dry cleaned, I actually save a little plastic and I'll pop it over items that are really special to me and I really don't want damaged. Now, in terms of actually preventing staining or damage of your clothes, I am really not the best to talk about this because I'm a very clumsy person, but I try my best. I do have a little scarf that I just pop over my head if I am changing clothes and don't want to get makeup onto it. So I just pop it over, change out, and then pop the new item on. And this is really great for preventing makeup stains around the neckline. It's the worst when you change into a new top and then you realize you got like lipstick or something on the neckline. It's terrible. So the scarf is a really great trick. And then also just generally being aware of the clothing that you're wearing if it's delicate, and then not having things that might snag it. Just being aware of things like zips or clasps on handbags or studs that can snag delicate clothing. I feel like these are just things that you have to make a mistake before you learn what not to do. I've also made the mistake of wearing a black jeans and then having a white handbag and then the black transferring onto the handbag. There are my little tips and tricks to take care of your clothing properly. If you have any tips or tricks that you absolutely swear by when it comes to taking care of your clothing, please do pop it in the comments down below. I read every single comment that I receive and I absolutely love chatting with you guys on my videos. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. Oh no, I gave my heart away.